Hi. Today's question is, how do I most potently manifest material abundance? How do I most potently manifest material abundance? Now, you've probably noticed by now that it's something that I'm not particularly good at. You can see the walls of the place behind me. The ceiling is even worse. It's a very old building. I live very close to the beach, and to get close to the beach as I am, which is 400 meters, in my budget, I had to make some sacrifices. So it's not the nicest place. So I would like to live a more materially abundant life. I'm very abundant in joy. I'm very abundant in freedom. I'm very abundant in health. I'm very abundant in love. I'm very abundant in all the ways in which I would like to be abundant, except material wealth. So, let's see what we got. Okay, how do I most potently manifest material abundance? Alright, here we go. I'm hearing hydrate. Okay. I'll do my nails as well. Just kidding. Okay, here we go. Greetings and thank you for the question. How do I most potently manifest material abundance? First, we would like to bring some ease to your state regarding material abundance. The degree of material abundance you possess is not a reflection of your value as a human being. It's important to maintain this understanding, because if you feel that you are less of a person, you have less value, less worthiness because you are poor, then that is going to create a state of being which is imbued with the vibration of valueless, unworthiness, which will create a geometry that is congruent with being poor. And so it is a feedback loop that creates more of what it is that you do not wish to have. So remain aware that you are not the body, the mind, the personality. This physical reality you are living is not the true experience of who you are, but instead is just a temporary vehicle, being the mind, the body, personality, in a temporary, illusory reality which you are literally dreaming from the higher self perspective. So you are infinitely abundant in all ways, in the true sense of who you are. And this life is not the true reflection of who you are, but it's the reflection of who you are being. It's a reflection of how realized you are of your infinity in the non-physical way that you exist. And when we look at your life in particular, Murray, we can see that you are very realized of your infinite abundance in many ways. However, strikingly in contrast is your realization of your infinity and your abundance is not reflected at all in your material wealth. So the balance is not there. The unbalance is so marked that it is clear there is a blockage. There is a fundamental understanding which you do not yet have within your awareness. It is still unrealized. And your expression of this unawareness is the poverty in which you live. So it is wise that you would seek to balance this imbalance. When you self-perceive from the perspective of the mind-body personality as Murray and not the higher self, then you are more likely, more prone to having self-conceptualizations which are inaccurate, including that you are not abundant. But as you have heard before, even in material wealth, you are enjoying a type of abundance. And your abundance is an abundance of lack, an abundance of poverty. Abundance is the only state of existence. Because there is infinity, there is always infinity of whatever it is that you wish to manifest. It comes from an infinite source. And so it is not an absence, but rather an oversupply. An oversupply of material lack. However, seeing as you are the infinite being, then it is more effective if you maintain the perspective of the infinite being. The infinite being is fully aware that it is abundance. It has complete access to all resources that it requires. And therefore, abundance is readily available. And with the mastery to have an abundance of what it is that you choose. So now transition in this moment, as we discuss this, to the highest self perspective. So we shall not refer to it as it, but rather as you. So now, let go of the identity that is Murray, release it, and transition the focus of your consciousness to the infinite non-physical that you are, and become identified with the infinite energetic existing as non-physical. And then realize yourself. Realize what it is that you're already aware of about the self from this higher self perspective. Feel that you are fully abundant. Feel that you are able to manifest your desires, whatever they are. Your reality from the higher self perspective is infinitely malleable, and you are infinitely capable of manifesting that which you desire. It is important that you feel this truth. Integrate into this understanding. Allow it to permeate into your energetic signature, so that the emanation which comes from the body and is representative of the instantaneous download, real-time streaming of the higher self, also maintains this quality that you are abundance, that you can manifest your desires at will, because this is the truth of who you are. And it is only when you filter this truth from your presence through misunderstanding of the mind about who you truly are, that it does not have the opportunity, this quality does not have the opportunity to be broadcast into your reality, into your physical reality, such that it reflects back to you this truth, that you are capable of abundant manifestation of your desires, specifically of your desires. Yes, we can sense that you are more effectively broadcasting that energy into your reality at this moment. So contemplation of the higher self is an essential practice, because much of the woes and tribulations of the physical realm will cease to be if you are able to bring the higher self perspective, the perfect, infinite, invulnerable, into the emanation which you are sending into your reality as your presence. So while maintaining this belief that you are capable of manifesting your desires, decide what your desires are. And of course, the belief is a layer of artifact that is necessary when you bring the higher self knowing into the body. Because from the perspective of the higher self, it is not a knowing. Correction. In the higher self perspective, it is not a belief, but instead a knowing. It is a fully integrated characteristic of the higher self. And so it does not need to be layered as a belief, because it just is. You are abundance. You are manifestation of desires. And when you bring this realization into the apparatus, the mind, the body, the personality, which is a tool for utilization by the higher self to integrate into the physical reality and realize the higher self in the physical experience. This is the purpose of the apparatus. And so when you are in your physical life, you are straddling both of these perspectives. You are the higher self, and you are wearing the apparatus. So you are the higher self with the capacities of the higher self, and you are utilizing the apparatus. You are puppeteering the apparatus. You are the master and the apparatus is the servant. And the operating system of the servant, we are talking about the mind, body, personality, this apparatus. The operating system is the mind. It is, in a way, an artificial intelligence, an organic artificial intelligence. It is the operating system inherent to the conduit. And it operates on beliefs. And so the knowing of the higher self, that you are abundance, that you are the manifestation of your desires, can be installed in the mind, in the AI operating system of the conduit as a belief. And so work on installing this belief. Program the AI to have that as the default belief in regard to material abundance. And when it is successfully done, then the basis of the emanation, which you are broadcasting into your physical reality as presence, will be reflective of this nature of the higher self, which is infinite abundance and capacity to manifest desires. The belief allows this truth to be in your presence, in your emanation, in the geometry which you are creating. So the origination of this frequency of abundance of your desires, is not originating from the belief itself, from the body, but is originating from the higher self. It is a characteristic of the higher self. And by maintaining this belief in the mind, in the organic artificial intelligence of the apparatus, you are, in a sense, opening a window and allowing this characteristic of the higher self to flow through spontaneously as it is downloaded from the higher self into your physical reality as your presence. And so it is a beacon. It is a vibratory beacon which is creating the geometry on which can be manifested your desires. So it is an allowing. It is an allowing of the true you to be unfiltered in your presence. So looking at your life and your apparent struggle with material abundance and the manifestation of your desires, it's clear that you are not allowing this characteristic of the higher self to be spontaneously emanated into your reality. You are holding a belief which has shut the window. And the belief clearly is not stemming from the truth of who you are, but instead is stemming from a misunderstanding of who you are. It is originating from the organic artificial intelligence, the mind. But the mind is the operating system. It is a servant to the higher self. And if you are blocking or closing the window through which your emanation of, your vibratory emanation of abundant manifestation of your desires would flow, then we suggest two things. One, everything we have explained to this point. And two, discover what belief it is that you hold, which is resulting in a geometry on which manifests an abundance of lack. Discover what that belief is. And we would say you do not have to be completely honed and specific such that you can identify a single moment in your history when this first appeared. Just your intuitive sense that it is there. Just your intuitive sensing there is some belief within you which is not reflective of the truth of the higher self. And it is something that you wish to release and dissolve such that you can integrate more fully into the realization of the higher self. And the window opens, and through it flows a more realized version of your truth, of the higher self, of your infinite capacity to manifest your material desires. So we have observed you over your lifetime, and you have had periods of material success, yet mostly it has been material struggle. And our commentary on this, regarding the many times you have tried to use exercises to transform your mode of manifestation, which have been met with, in the most part, unsuccess. The commentary is, go deeper. Don't do all the searching within the mind, within the personality. Instead, go to the depth of higher self. Realize your infinite abundance and capacity to manifest your material desires. Realize it. Accept this is the truth. And work less on trying to corral and cajole the mind to operate in a way which will manifest that which you desire. Because this is a methodology which has been, in the most part, unsuccessful for you, and also does not utilize the capacity that you have to go deeper. As you become more realized as a higher self, then you are more capable to live your life from this perspective. And so it does not make sense to end your investigation at the level of the mind. Transcend the mind and become the highest self realized in the physical experience. And from this perspective, peer into the mind, knowing the divine truth of who you are, of your infinity, of your invulnerability, of your immortality, of your origination as the individuation of the infinite love of the One. And then from this perspective, you know that you are infinite. You know that your capacity to manifest your desires is also infinite. This is a truth. And so it does not require to be a belief. It is. And from this perspective, peering into the mind, it becomes much easier to replace beliefs that you can see are not reflective of your divine truth. They can be set aside, and the truth of who you are takes position in that part of your energetic vibration. It can be implanted. It does not require persuasion to transform the belief, because it is a knowing of the higher self. And so it can be inserted with ease. So we shall leave that at this point, rather than to go into greater complexity, because already we feel that you are beginning to lose the grasp on the imagery we're giving you, because it is becoming more energetic and more nuanced in what it is that we are trying to convey to you. So begin with that. And be vigilant. Be habitual in your return to the higher self perspective. Realizing the divine truth of your infinite abundance and capacity to manifest your material desires. Become very identified with this truth. And then allow those truths to embed into the mind. And this sensed blockage, this sensed belief that you have, which you know is not the true reflection of who you are, that is creating this abundance of lack, release it. Make the recognition that it is there, that you sense it. You do not need to know exactly what it is, but be aware that it is there and that you are releasing it and you are replacing it with the divine truth of your infinite capacity. And then maintain this in your vibration. And as you live your life and you look about and the circumstances occurring, have the highest self-perspective looking down onto the life. And so when you see things in the horizon approaching you, or you notice that there is some type of material situation which usually would send you into a sense of, uh-oh, I'm going to be in financial problems here. When that begins to happen, again, go into the realization there is something which is blocking you, which is an untrue belief. Release it. And immediately shift to the perspective of the highest self, fully knowing of its infinite abundance capacity to manifest material desires, and perceive it from that perspective. Perceive it with ease, and perceive it in a way that what you are experiencing is literally that which is most powerfully going to manifest your material desires. This is literally the truth. If you maintain that perspective, it cannot be any other way. So do this, and make sure it's done. We make this point because we have had these discussions with you before, and then after the discussion you did not do the practices that we asked you to do. So look back at the most recent channeling we did for you in regard to this topic, and then using this methodology we have given to you now as step one, incorporate the methodology from the previous channeling on this topic as step two. and you shall be on your way to understanding who you are from the perspective of the mind-body, and you will be on the way to being present as the higher self in a vibratory sense of every moment emanating from the vehicle, creating the geometry to manifest your material desires. So thank you. We appreciate this opportunity to help you in this way, and we are excited and we encourage you to take action on the advice that we've given you. Thank you, we love you, and we'll speak to you again soon.